Hello everybody, good morning. Jack Darby here from Premier Education and welcome to our live health and wellbeing lesson called Energy Balance. Today we're doing a FUN-Trition lesson all about health and wellbeing, and we're trying to find out about our balance of energy in and energy out. First of all, if you're on Zoom, make sure that your microphone is off and that your camera is off. You need to make sure that you can see me and hear me, and the best way for you to do that is to put it on speaker view, so that I'll be nice and big in your screen and I'll be able to make sure that you get the best content from me and we can make it nice and interactive. There is a chat box on Zoom as well that you can use. So if you're logging in at school, you can speak to your teacher, they can put comments in there. You might just be able to interact with them. If you're at home, speak to your adult, they can do it as well. If you're on Facebook, use our comments as well there, because I've got some fantastic things. I know William's watching at home, because he's commented on Facebook, so it's great to see that. So can you put your comments on there or in the chat box so that I can interact with you? So I've got some questions for you today. We're learning here together, so let's make sure that we're working really, really well. Shout out to Woody and Rowan who are watching from home. Fantastic, nice to see you. Make sure that you are commenting, make sure that you are interacting and ready to go. If you've got a little bit of space around you, there might be some activities that I can ask you to do as well. If you've got a pen and paper or a whiteboard and pen, that could be really useful too, but don't worry if not. Just make sure that you're ready to speak to the person that you're with, make sure that you're ready to chat to them, and share this as well. Get other people involved. Let's see how many people we can educate today, and we can work together to make sure that we're all active. So we're going to make a little start about what we're working on today, making sure that we're ready to go, making sure that you can hear me, you've got a nice space, you're focused and ready to learn. I'm going to make sure that I'm ready as well. Got a little glass of water in case I get active, making sure the temperature's not too hot, making sure that I'm nice and comfy, I'm in my suitable clothing. So today, with our energy balance lesson, we're going to learn about 4 key areas. How we gain energy, so where it comes from, and how we use up our energy. And we're going to think about how we might feel and what happens to our body if we gain more than we use, or if we use more than we gain. So I'm going to ask you to help me answer these questions. I've got a few questions that come up through our lesson, and it's up to you to try and put some ideas in the chat box or in the comments box so that I can see them as well. So big shout out before we start. Well done. We've got Tristan watching. We've got Kingfisher class at Enfield Academy watching. Jared's watching. Fantastic, guys. Really, really good to see you and have you joining in. So let's make a start on our FUN-Trition lesson. So when we talk about FUN-Trition, we're talking about health and well-being. There's 4 key areas that we work on. You can see them on my screen here. And those areas help us to be healthy, active, fit and strong and happy. We all want to be happier. We all want to have a bit more energy. And that's what we're learning about today. So those 4 areas that we'll go through have a nice symbol like this. Our Eat Well one looks like a mouth. And that's about eating the right food. So with our Eat Well one, we're going to come up with an action for eating. So have a little think. What could you do at home? What action could you do for Eat Well? Let me think. I like eating fruits and vegetables. So I might take an apple from the tree and eat it like that, or I might peel a banana, have a nice bite of my banana, or I might cut up my food. What's your favourite meal? What do you like to eat? Can you pretend you're eating it? Is it a big bowl full of porridge? What could it be? There's some ideas here for our Eat Well area as well. Our Drink Well area is about drinking healthy drinks, making those right choices and drinking throughout the day. So turn on the tap, fill up your water cup, have a nice drink of water. Move well. That's about being active, on the move, moving our body. Might be jogging on the spot, might be doing some star jumps, might be climbing the rope, you might be a dancer, whatever it is that you like to do to move well, we're going to find an action to do with that. And sleep well. Pay attention to this one because there's a clue in here. I'm going to brush my teeth, get nice and comfy, do this, and then I'm going to go to sleep on my pillow. So can you copy that one? Brush your teeth, and then make your pillow. Fantastic. So let's go through those in a little bit more detail, just so we start to understand those 4 fundamentals. The first one, eat well. There's a question for you here, and I want to see your comments in the chat box. How many portions of fruits and vegetables do you think we need to be eating a day? That's your challenge. I'm looking for those answers. Our fruits and vegetables give us lots of vitamins and minerals that really, really help our bodies grow and stay healthy. So how many do we need to eat a day? Portion of fruits and vegetables is about a handful. My hands are bigger than yours, most likely, if you're watching from your primary school or at homeschooling. So your portion might be slightly smaller than mine. You might have a smaller apple. I might have a bigger apple. I might have a handful of grapes. Your handful might not have as many. So what portion is ready for you? How many portions do you need to have? Let's have a little look, see if we've got any answers. Someone's saying 10 a day. Fantastic answer. Let's see if we can keep going. Keep guesses coming in. Waddington All Saints think it's 5. Fantastic. High 5 to Waddington All Saints. Keep those answers coming in. Our starchy carbohydrates are our yellow area. So on the side here, our big yellow area, nice and big. Those green, those yellow areas are the biggest too. That's because they're the things we need to eat the most of. So every meal might have some of those carbohydrates, some of those fruits and vegetables. Think about your breakfast this morning. Chances are it had some starchy carbohydrates in it, whether it was Weetabix like me, whether you had porridge or toast, whatever it could have been. And we're trying to have those throughout the day. So your lunchtime, you might have a sandwich. You might have some pasta or some rice, and the same at dinner. Could be potatoes, could be couscous, anything that you like. Our blue area there is our dairy and our alternatives. So it might be that you're having milk or cheese, or it might be that you're having yogurt, or it might be that you're lactose intolerant, or that you're vegan and you choose not to have those products. And you might have alternatives like rice milk and almond milk, and they might have added things like calcium in them, which comes naturally in our dairy products, that can really, really help our teeth and our bones. I like to think my glass of milk is white, so are my teeth, so are my bones. So I like to remember it that way, that I have calcium in my milk that helps me stay nice and strong and healthy. Our pink area down at the bottom, again slightly smaller, is our proteins. Protein foods are good for growth and repair. They help us get nice and strong, they can build our muscles, and they also help us, if we have a cutter or anything, for example, it's the proteins that go to work on healing that cutter so that we can get active again and carry on playing. So let's see if we can find out the answer to our questions. Finley and Oliver think it's 5 a day. Jared thinks it's 5 a day. It is at least 5 a day. That's fantastic. So high five to those people who got that right, those who are saying it at home. 5 a day. We're trying to have at least 5 portions of fruits and vegetables. So think about your handful, what that might be. For drink well, how many glasses of water do we need to have a day? So I've got mine here. Remember, I've turned on that tap. Drinking that water. How many glasses of water do you need to try and have a day? That's another one for the comment box. How many can you do? When we have lots of water, when we have our drinks all the way throughout the day, so not just loads and loads at the start, but all spread out throughout the day, we start feeling a bit more hydrated. We have better skin. It doesn't get as dry and crinkly and really sore as it might do if we're not as hydrated. If we don't drink enough water, we might start getting headaches. We might get hot. We might get tired. Our bodies use water. We're made up mostly of water, and everything that our body does uses water to process it. So it's really important that we keep ourselves nice and hydrated by drinking. How many cups do we think? Someone said 3 litres down there. That's one of those big bottles. Let's have a little look. Who thinks that they know the answer? How many cups of water do you need a day? Our answer is 6 to 8 cups of water. So for you guys at home, 6 to 8 cups like this a day. Might sound like a lot if you have it all at once, but if you spread it throughout the day, if you have a cup with your breakfast, or it might be that you're having a different fluid there, it might be that you're having a no added sugar squash, something like that. If you're having a drink in the morning, drink at lunchtime, drink in the afternoon, drink with dinner, drink before bed, you're having those 6 really, really easily. So how can you get those into your day? You might have one of those water bottles that has the measurements down the side to remind you to drink. If we do that, we'll feel a lot better, a lot happier, and we'll have more energy to play as well. And if we've got more energy, we can move well. How many minutes of activity do you think we need to be trying to do a day? That's another question for you. Can you comment there? How many minutes each day should you try and do? It's a little bit about what we're thinking about today with our energy. So if we're moving well, in fact, let's have a challenge. What do I mean by activity? What do I mean by vigorous activity that we're going to talk about later? It's about getting our heart beating. So stand up, find a nice space. If you're in school, tuck your chair in, make sure you've got a bit of room next to you. Make sure that you've got a little bit of space around you. It's nice and safe. If you've grown up, needs to help you with this as well. We're going on a bit of an adventure. We're going to go on a rocket ship. We're going to count down from 5 all the way down to 1, then we're going to blast off. So what we're going to do for our countdown is we're going to bend down and touch the ground, and then we're going to jump up in the air with our arms up. So I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of space around me. We've got a nice clear space here. I'm going to touch the ground, and you're going to count with me. Are you ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now jog on the spot for me, making sure you're ready. We're going to go count down. So next one is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And jog on the spot again. We're getting ready to go again. This one's 3. 1, 2, 3. And jog on the spot again. 2, 1, 2, one more to go. Jog on the spot. You ready for the last one? This is our blast off one, so get your rocket ships ready. And 1, blast off. And we're flying. Put your hand on your heart for me. You should feel that beating a bit harder. It should be nice and easy to feel your heartbeat now. You might be bending over going, I'm tired. Mr. W, you tired me out. But that's fantastic. That's the kind of exercise we need to be doing. That was only 1 minute. How many minutes do we think we needed to do? Some people commented, something that gets your heart going strong. 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. If you're in primary school, the guidance is 60 minutes a day. 60 minutes, that's an hour. Now, you don't have to do that 60 times. You can do anything that you enjoy. So it's about finding activities that you like to do. What can you do? I like playing football. When I play football for an hour, I don't really notice that I'm getting tired and my heart's beating like that. If I go for a run, I can focus, switch off, and enjoy myself for an hour without feeling like that. It might be that I do a 20-minute run. It might be that I woke up this morning and did PE with Joe and got some exercise that way. It might be that I'm going on a bike ride and the time passes really quickly because I'm having lots of fun. So what can you do? Well done for those people that said 60 minutes, an hour. Fantastic work. If we exercise really, really well, our bones and our muscles get stronger. We were using our legs there, our arms, we were strengthening our bones, we're using our heart and our lungs, and we get stronger and healthier. With the right energy coming into our body, we can do that and we can get really, really healthy and really happy as well because we enjoy it. And if we get nice and tired at the end, we might even sleep better. So sleeping well. Another question for you here. How many hours of sleep do you need to try and get a night? So it might be different for your parents as it is for you, but comment below, put it in the chat box. How many do you think we need? So parents, if your child's saying something, or teachers, if the children are saying something, put it in the chat box, put it in the comments for us, and we can see it on here. How many hours sleep per night? For me, it might be slightly different for you. But I like to make sure when I go to bed, I'm nice and clean, I'm wound down, so I brush my teeth, have a wash or a bath or a shower, whatever I might do. I make sure that I'm getting ready, getting comfortable, making sure I'm the right temperature, pillows are ready. And I'm trying to reduce the amount of screen time I have before bed. If you use your phone or your tablet or your TV just before you go to sleep, it can actually keep you awake for 30 minutes longer. The blue light in that screen acts almost like the sunlight, which gives us lots of energy. Have a think about what you do before bed. Maybe to try and change that. Maybe you could read a book or listen to a story instead. So, what can you do? How many hours do you need? The answer is 10 plus hours. For an adult, it's aiming for 7 to 8 hours, which would be amazing. But for a younger child at primary school, 10 to 12 hours. Might seem like a lot, but making sure you're going to bed nice and early, making sure you're nice and comfortable, that your room's a nice temperature, and maybe you've got the curtains drawn and it's nice and dark at the minute as well. So when we're sleeping through a lot easier in the winter. And if we do that, we're ready for the next day. We remember all that information that we've learned. So all the things that you're learning today, you remember them better if you get a good night's sleep. It's also where we do our best growing. When you wake up in the morning, you'll be even taller than you are now. Our bodies grow overnight because everything else can just relax. They can recharge and do lots of work. I had a cut on my finger the other day. I went to sleep. When I woke up in the morning, it had healed up and it felt much better. So today we're talking about energy. And we're going to think about our energy sources. So have a little think about our picture here. We've got a car. Where does our car get energy from? The petrol station. We put fuel in our cars, which allow them to go. For our electronic devices, we plug them in. So they get energy from electricity. So things like iPads and tablets and phones get plugged in. That's where they get their energy from. Plants and flowers, they get their energy from sunlight. They use that and water and vitamins and nutrients from the soil to grow. And that helps them to get stronger and bigger. So we're somebody that needs to go. We need to have energy and we need to grow and get stronger. But we don't use petrol. We don't plug ourselves in at night. And we don't, especially at the minute, spend as much time in the sunlight as possible. So let's have a think about where our food comes from. What do you think? Where does our food come from? Or where does our energy come from? Giving it away a little bit there. It's from food. So our different foods have different amounts of energy. Some foods are really, really high in energy. Some are lower in energy. Some we can eat loads and loads of. Some we need to limit and have not so much of. So I'm going to introduce our energy stars. Our energy stars are going to help us to understand how much energy is in each food. And then when we're talking about our energy balance, we can try and balance out those stars today. So the more we eat, the more energy we get, and the more stars we have. Here's an example of a couple of foods that are low on our star level. So my glass of water earlier, really, really important for my body to use while I'm using up my energy, but doesn't have any energy in it. It's just going to help my body use that energy. So that's going to be 0 stars on there. Toast and Weetabix, I've got some Weetabix down here, they're going to have 1 and 2 stars in them. You can see there that as that number goes up, that kcal is our calories. That's what we measure energy in. You might see it on the packaging. There's a little number there that says about the calories. You might have heard people talking about calories. It's not as important for us to worry about the number of those calories, but we can see as that energy increases, as those stars increase, that number of calories increases. That's just what we measure. That's our unit of energy. So the more energy we have, the more energy our bodies get. The more food we eat, the more stars we take on. So these foods are quite high in energy stars. We've got our rice, our spaghetti, and a chocolate bar, 5 stars worth of energy. So we need to think about where we're getting our energy from and how we're using it as well. So starting to think about the balance of some of those energies. If I think that both these pictures have got the same amount of energy in them, a packet of crisps, which is about 32.5 grams, and a packet of rice, about 250 grams. Which one of those do you think is going to give me the best energy and fill me up for the longest? Hands up if you think it's the crisps that's going to give you the most energy, the longest lasting one. Who thinks the crisps, like my packet down here? Who thinks the rice? I think the rice as well. So our rice is going to have the same amount of energy as that bag of crisps, but it might last for longer. Or we might not need a whole packet of it. We might have half a packet or a quarter of a packet, a portion of it, that's going to give us as much energy to let us play and be active. So we use up our energy through exercises. And again, we have those energy stars. The more active we are, the more stars we use. So the stronger and fitter we become with the right fuel in our bodies, the more active we are. So remember, like our car had that fuel coming into it, we're going to have to use some of that fuel with what we're doing. Our car, if I want to be the best race car, give myself the best fuel, I'm going to drive around. So when I'm driving around, that's me using up that fuel. And then I need to top it up again. So let's have a little look at some activities here. So using my iPad, watching the TV, it's going to be 0 calories. Other than the ones that our bodies are constantly using, there's no extra calories being used there. If you're watching a nice, fun, interactive lesson at home and you're up and you're jogging around and you're doing rocket jumps, you're starting to burn some calories. You're starting to use some energy. So more of your energy is coming out, which is fantastic. So think about how active you can be. If you're helping to cook, you're standing up. Immediately, you're using energy. You're walking about, you're opening the cupboards, you might be mixing, you might be chopping, you might be lifting heavy things, you might be tipping the pasta into the bowl, whatever it could be, you're starting to use more energy. If you're going for a walk, you're using even more. We're going to some really high energy ones that you might do. Dancing, you might put some music on and dance around. It's Friday, we can have a party. We can dance around, we can use some extra energy up, we can have loads of fun doing it as well. You might have done a Joe Wicks workout, or you might be doing one of the Premier Education ones, where you're getting nice and sweaty, nice and hot, your heart's beating fast, and you're being really, really active for 20, 30 minutes at a time, using up extra calories. And look, that number's going up again, 150, 250, 300, riding on your bike, 5 energy stars. So we need to find a balance between what we're doing, what we're taking in, and what we're coming out. And that's why we're going to introduce our energy balance and our energy scales. So I've got my scales here, and you can see them on the picture as well. We need to make sure that our stars are balanced to stay healthy. So if I've got 2 stars on each side here, I'm going to make sure I'm nice and balanced. The more I add on in, the less balanced I become. So if I have loads of energy coming in and not enough going out, I've not got that balance. I need to think about what I'm eating. And it's not just one meal. It's not just that I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have a Snickers and then I'm going to go swimming. It's more about throughout the day. So what healthy choices can you make so that throughout the day, you are leveling it out? My goal is to try and keep my scales balanced. So this is what I'm looking for. A nice balanced scale so that my energy in and my energy out are similar. Now for me, I'm an active person. I like to play football, I like running, I like playing in the garden with my son, I like going to the park, kicking a ball around, whatever it could be, I like to be active. I've always liked being active since I was at primary school and before. So that's why I brought in some things from home that help me stay active. Things like swimming, playing tennis, playing football. All these things keep me active. So I like to make sure that I'm active. And if I'm active and I've got my energy coming out, I also need to make sure that I'm getting enough energy in. And that's throughout the day. So I might have a day where I don't exercise as much. So if I'm not as active that day, I need to make sure that I'm not having as many treats and snacks to balance it out, because I want to stay nice and healthy. It's really, really important as well that we think about getting the right fuel into our bodies. So even if I'm not very active and I'm not eating much, my body's not going to get stronger that way. So I need to find that balance to make sure that I'm nice and active. If I was to sit on the sofa all day, playing on the iPad, watching TV, and not eat much, there wouldn't be much change between my stars. They'd be quite similar, like we can see in our picture. But what I want to do is I want to get stronger. I want to get fitter. I want to get healthier and happier. I love playing sports and playing games outside. I love playing in the lounge and making games up to play at home. I love following along with videos on the TV or the iPad so that I can do them at home and try out some new skills. So I'm trying to think about what I can do to make sure that I'm healthy and happy. And that for me is more energy out with a nice balance of energy in. I've got a question for you guys. I want the comments in the chat box, or speak to the adult that you're with. Why don't we just have a big breakfast in the morning and not eat for the rest of the day? Why don't we just say, right, here's all our energy coming in, and then throughout the day, start to add those bits on and not have to worry about eating again? Why don't we do that? Have a little think, have a comment. Let's see what you say. Loads of people loving to ride their bike, loads of people being active. Why wouldn't it be a good idea to have that breakfast at the start of the day? How would we feel? If we had all that food, how do you feel? I tried it once. It was a big buffet. Everything was there. Eggs, bacon, sausages, toast and cereals with fruit and yogurt. It was amazing. I had a big plate full and then another one. And it was so big and I ate it all. I must have got so much energy into my body. But after that, I felt sluggish and tired. I felt a bit sick, to be honest. I couldn't really move. Imagine going to school like that, trying to learn, trying to concentrate. Or imagine if I did that and then went to try and go for a run. I'd feel it rolling around in my stomach. It wouldn't be good for me at all. So we're trying to eat throughout the day, a nice healthy breakfast, maybe some activity in the morning as well. Nice healthy lunch, some activity in the afternoon. And again, before dinner and after dinner, staying nice and balanced. So how can you find that balance? We need to burn off energy slowly throughout the day. Fantastic answer there. One large meal makes you feel tired. Yeah, I had a nap after my Christmas dinner this year because I had so much food, I was really sleepy. Too much energy is hard for our body to process. So we need to eat in moderation throughout the day and balance it off nicely. And if we're not active, if we eat all that food, all that energy comes in and not as much comes out, then our body starts to store energy and it stores it as fat. So it means that we're finding it harder to process all the energy that we're getting in. And also, if we're storing it and if we're not using it and practicing to use it, then we'll put on weight and we'll find it harder to be active and burn it off. I know what it's like when I'm a bit less motivated, or when it's a bit rainy or dark or cold. I don't find it as easy to get outside. I lose my stamina. Stamina is about energy. It's about how long you can use your energy for. So the more stamina I have, the easier I find it to exercise. The more energy I have from sleeping well, from drinking lots of water and eating the right foods, helps me to go and play. If I have too much of that, too much energy in and not enough energy out, it's going to be really, really tough for me. I'm going to find it hard to get active. So someone's saying feeling sick and tired. That's exactly right. That's how we'd feel here. And if you're tired, the last thing you want to do is go and exercise. So it's about finding that balance. Sometimes that first step is a hard one. So well done for coming to this lesson today, because hopefully that will start to get you thinking about being a little bit more active. And you've done a bit of activity with me today. And we can do a little bit more as well later as well. So another one then. How do we feel after we're going swimming and doing vigorous exercise? Let's see some of the comments here. How do you feel after swimming? I love going swimming. Got my armbands here. I like jumping in. I like going up and down the pool. I like holding my breath underwater, doing handstands on the bottom of the pool floor. I love going swimming. But afterwards, I always feel the same. I always feel happy when I do it. So some people put that. How do you feel after you've been swimming? So this one is going to be a big energy out. Lots of energy used doing swimming. How do you feel? Some people have put that they're feeling happy, just like me. I used to love going swimming for my swimming lessons with school, because afterwards I'd be able to have a snack on the way home. Or if I went swimming with my family, we'd go home and have dinner together. And it was so good, because after swimming, like lots of you are thinking, I was really hungry. I was tired, I was drained, I was wet, but I was hungry. And I knew that I had earned that meal. I knew that I could have a nice big portion to balance off those energy stars. So I knew that even though I'd been swimming and used lots of energy up, I could then balance it off so I could stay nice and healthy. So that's what we're thinking about today. If we exercise lots and lots, we need to refuel our bodies. Just think about that car racing around the racetrack. Even if you watch the Formula One or Lightning McQueen doing his races, he has to go in the pits to get more fuel on. So we need to make sure that we are refueling our bodies as well, so that we don't run out of energy. If you've ever been for a run or a long walk with your parents, you might say, oh, I'm tired, I'm hungry. And then if we get tired and hungry, how might we feel? If you've got brothers and sisters at home, even your parents as well, if you've got people at home and they're tired or they're hungry, how do they behave? They might be a bit cranky, they might be a bit irritable, they might get a bit annoying. So you're the same as well. I hate to tell you, but if you have not enough energy in your bodies and you use it all up, we need to balance it off. People might say you're hungry. So you're hungry and angry at the same time. So can we find that balance of our energies? So in that swimming situation, people saying that they feel tired, hot, relaxed and happy. Relaxed, a fantastic one. After exercise, we're nice and relaxed. So can we get our balance right? But if we don't have enough energy, we start to lose that energy. We start to feel tired and it becomes harder for us to regain that energy. So after we've been exercising, can we think about balancing it out? If we don't do that, we might start to lose weight. Our bodies and our muscles will become weaker. We'll find it hard to get healthy, happy, and strong. So let's have a little think about some of the questions that we've looked at today. How do we gain energy? You can tell me now. We gain energy from our food and our carbohydrate groups mainly. Our two types of carbohydrates. We've got starchy carbohydrates, like our pasta, our bread, our potatoes, our Weetabix. They're going to give us that long-lasting energy. And we've also got sugary carbohydrates, which may contain lots of energy, but that energy isn't going to last as long. It'll get us nice and hyper, and then we might crash and start to feel tired and cranky and all those different things that we were trying to avoid earlier. So we're trying to get that balance right between the activities that we do and the ones that we bring into our body through food. How do we use energy? That's being active. Find activities that you like to do them nice and regularly, find that balance there. If we gain more than we use, we store energy. If we use more than we gain, we lose energy. So that balance helps us have just the right amount of energy to be active and have fun and play with our friends. And also, it helps us to grow and get stronger and bigger and healthier and happier. Right now, something's changed in our lives. Loads of you will be watching this at home. Loads of you will be homeschooling, staying at home. Some of you will be at school. But again, even the school day isn't quite the same. So we're going to have a think about right now what changes we might need to make, or what we might need to think about and consider that we've learned today. If you've got a question, if you've got a comment, put it in the chat box there. What do you think might be different about right now? Are you exercising as much as you usually would if you were at school? Are you able to do the things that you used to? Even if you're going to school, are the same opportunities there for you to be active? So have a think right now, how are we getting the balance right? I know for me, during lockdown, it was a bit easier for me to get energy in without getting as much energy out. I couldn't go to the swimming pool or the gym. They were closed. I wasn't as active in my job because the schools were closed. So I had to think about how I could find some activities to balance that off. Or the other way around, I had to think, rather than having those extra snacks, I need to think, could I take those away on a day where I'm less active? Can I reduce the amount of sugary sweets and snacks that I'm having that might not be as healthy for my body? They might not have the vitamins and minerals that help me to be strong and healthy. Can I swap those for something different, like a carrot? Or can I swap them for a glass of water and a nice healthy piece of fruit? And then can I make that balance a little bit easier for me? Let's have a look at some of the examples we've got here. Waddington School, fantastic, trying to start balancing the food intake and their exercise. People saying they can't be as active at the minute. It's exactly right. On a normal day, your activity comes without even thinking about it. You'll get up, you'll be getting dressed, moving around, getting your school uniform on, making sure it's all in the right places, going downstairs for your breakfast, going back upstairs to get ready. Already you're using energy stars. You're having some in with your healthy breakfast, you're having some out with getting ready for that day. Then you might walk to school or ride your bike to school, or at least walk to the car and then from the car. So we've got extra steps, extra energy stars being used there. And after that, we're in school. We're learning. We're thinking, using our brains. In the classroom, completely different to at home. You might be standing up, moving around. At home, you might just be sat down at the table or on the sofa or on a chair, wherever it might be, and you might be static. You might be staying still. So our bodies aren't using as much energy, as many energy stars. At school, you might have that break time where you're active. You might have a snack there, a healthy piece of fruit, and you might run around and play with your friends, charged up and down the playground. Used to be one of my favourite games, pulling my coat over my shoulders, running as fast as I could. It was so much fun. But right now, we're not able to do that as much. Are you still getting active at home? Are you finding ways to do it? And if not, are you thinking about those extra treats and those extra snacks and finding that balance there? Lunchtime. At school, you're getting that healthy dinner, and then you're also having a play, an hour long to eat and then go and exercise. And again, not even thinking about races with your friends, kicking a ball around, chasing after something, loads and loads of fun. But again, at home, we're not doing that as much. Well done if you are. It's amazing if you're getting active at home and having loads and loads of fun playing, but it's not as easy, especially if the weather's not great, or if we don't have a big garden, or if we can't go to the park. So people are saying, trying to get outside while the weather's nice. It's a fantastic idea. It's a beautiful day today. It's a bit cold, but the sun's shining. This weekend, we should have a chance to go out and play. Loads and loads of opportunities to be active. So can we increase our exercise safely at home, but also have a bit of a think about what we're doing? Even those of you who are at school, you might not have that after school club running. You might not have that evening football session or rugby session or gymnastics or horse riding that you used to do. You might not be able to go swimming like you love so much. So have a think about what you can do and how you can understand that energy balance. And ultimately, it's about finding the right balance for you. What works best for you to stay balanced? So how can you get your best energy in and energy out? Can you try new foods, things that you enjoy? Can you help cook them? Things taste so much better when we've made them ourselves. My son loves baking and he absolutely takes pride in having made it himself. If you can help make your tea tonight or help make a meal over the weekend, that can be really, really useful. And you'll burn calories while doing it. Our energy out. Can we try and find things that are safe for us to do at home? Can we think about what works best for us? So a variety of foods, loads of different colours, 5 portions at least of fruits and vegetables, starchy carbohydrates with our meals, trying to reduce those sugary snacks, increasing the amount of activity we do, getting our heart beating fast, challenging other people as well. So challenge your parents to do it too, and see if you can get active together. So maybe going for a walk, going to play in the garden, doing something in your living room, which takes up only a tiny bit of space. It can be lots and lots of fun. So a bit of a challenge for you. I need you to think of 3 new activities that you'd like to try this weekend. So starting from today, so you've got today, tomorrow and the next day, what activities can you do? Put some in the chat box, something that you want to try and do, something that you're challenging yourselves. There's some fantastic information there that we sweat to cool us down. Yeah, so when we're active and we get really, really hot and sweaty, the sweat helps us to cool down. It's a fantastic response. So what can you do to get yourself sweaty, to get your heart beating fast, to get you out of breath? Something that you enjoy, something that maybe you've seen someone else do. Maybe you've seen Premier Education put a video on YouTube that you want to try and copy. Maybe you've seen a workout video you want to try. Maybe you can invent a new game to play in your garden. Maybe you're going for a walk. Maybe you're walking the dog. Maybe you want to get your bike out and go for a walk. Go for a bike ride. Go for a play with a ball in the park or a field or in your garden, whatever it might be. What can you do? The next challenge for you is to find out the calories in a bottle of cola. If you can't find cola, if you've not got anything in your house, don't go to the shops for this one. Just find something around your house and look for this little chart here. So you can see on there, you've got those energy indicators on there. So can you find those and find out how much energy is in there? Maybe compare that to something else, like your breakfast cereal or pasta or porridge or rice, whatever it might be. Can you be a bit of a detective and find out the sugars in those foods? And can you give us a comment about what you'd like the next lesson to be about? So we've got some comments on there as well. Running, tennis and cycling, fantastic. I love playing tennis. So I've got my things up here. Might get my bike out of the weekend if the weather's nice. Might go out with my family, go for a walk. People wanted to try hula hooping, lots and lots of fun. Maybe we'll do a YouTube video on hula hooping for you as well, and we can do some lessons on how to improve your hula hooping. I'll challenge one of our coaches to do that for you. So fantastic work there. What would you like us to teach you? We've got loads of lessons lined up as well. We're going to be looking at some more wellbeing lessons, some activity lessons, some dance lessons as well. So we're trying to find lots and lots of different things to help you stay active and help you have a little bit of help getting that energy out and then thinking about how we can balance with that energy in. So thank you so much for taking part today. I've really, really enjoyed working with you. Hope you've learned a lot as well. Well done for those people who contributed and gave us answers. Well done for those people who wrote their answers down. Well done to those people who got the right answers. And fantastic work to those people who got the wrong answers, but now know the right answers. So well done for giving it a go. If you want any extra resources, there's the email address on there, and we'll put that on our Facebook page as well. Your school teacher might already know as well. We can get you some extra resources so that you can work about finding your energy balance, keeping a bit of an energy diary about energy that you get coming in, the energy you get going out. But thank you so much. I've been Jack Darby at Premier Education. We've had loads and loads of fun today. We look forward to our next Facebook Live event. And in the meantime, stay active, stay safe, and stay happy. We'll see you soon.